Greetings, my friends. This is Gilles Mancillon. I am called to return to speak about transcendental psychology. We're living in a world that is that is really awakening. There is no choice. Everybody is like, there is the mass of the population. They're not awakening to the ascension and all that, but they're awakening to the need for freedom and quality of life. And so the whole over the world, there is this great deal of shifting and changing, and no one and nothing can change or stop or prevent this awakening. So it is good to stay an observer, to stay outside of the 3D, outside of the. For Hegel was to say that there is always about thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Like somebody creates a problem that creates an opposition, and then the synthesis is the solution. Well, the solution is what the one who created the problem wants to lead the collective consciousness. For Plato explained, he who tells the story controls society. So that's why there is a great deal of war in the psyche. For we all have a higher self. We are a projection. Like Plato used to say, he was talking about intelligible and sensible world. The world of senses is the physical world is constantly changing, and it's not really that real. Yet there is this intelligible world that is the higher self, that is very real, that is programming everything from down here. So as we integrate a higher self, we are able to work from up there. And when something is worked from up there is nothing down there that can prevent it from happening. So it is good to learn to work from the inner planes, from the higher planes. And for the goal of this whole thing is peace and unity. For the whole, even the Galactic Federation of Light is working towards the peace, unity of the whole galaxy eventually, so it can be raised into this higher plane, and then we'll move on to ever increasing level of light and life. So it's like. Right now, on a personal level, we want to offer advice and guidance to those who are asking for it. Otherwise, taking care of our own life. It's like let people deal with their life, and so. But we want there is always a need for integration, because we live in this dual world, so to integrate the polarities. Yet we want to raise our consciousness to the nirvana, the samadhi. For I am Judeo-Christian, but I do the teachings of the Buddha is very essential to my has been very essential to my ascension. We want to move outside of the pain and suffering, to move into this state of total stillness and void. So it is important to also understand it is not pure asceticism. The Buddha explained that Christ was an ascetic. Asceticism, it's like will not work, and people will tell you you can't do this, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this if you want to ascend. But it's all about moderation. It's not because if we want to be too ascetic, to remove all, of course, like the more we remove, the more clear we become. But if we seek to achieve too much, it's almost humanly impossible. So it's about balancing out and see what resonates with you, what your soul is calling for to do, and going one step at a time. We need to become master of the fourth dimension. Before we move into the fifth dimension, we need to become master of the fifth dimension before we move into the sixth dimension, and then we need to master that sixth dimension before we can ascend into the apex of consciousness in the seventh dimension, when we become the eye of God, anchored in life, where all things become within our under our dominions of sorts. But love and wisdom, it remains the essential of what we need to master. There is a planet here that will greatly assist our own planet. It's an older sister to the Earth. Her name is Venus, and the goddess of Venus will be the initiator of the light body, the fifth dimensional light body. The civilization is very ancient, very advanced. It's a sixth dimensional world. There are 20 billion souls who live on Venus. And they're very pacific, and they're very advanced technologically. I chance many times, or a few times, to travel in Venusian ships. They're very wonderful. They're very loving people, and the gift of the Earth, the royal eagle, was a gift from Venus, just as the bees were a gift from Venus. For what we see on the outside, there is only one city on the outside. For the outside world, that was completely destroyed during the galactic wars, but it will be recreated. They live inside the planet. And the goddess of Venus they're not six-dimensional society, but they are much higher. They're like more ninth-dimensional, and their sons are also very implicated, very powerful assistants, and one of them is named Sanat Kumara, the blessed master Sanat Kumara, who came to the earth in assistance. He became a planetary logo, just as the Lord Buddha is also a planetary logo, and so they're here in assistance, in preparation for the ascension of the planet, which will align us with more communication with this great civilization of Venus. And a lot of what we're going through right now is about letting go of the past, of the memory, of the traumas, of the habits, of certain habits, of certain conditioning, of certain beliefs, of certain relationships. For it's like using the violet fire, the violet flame is very useful, or asking for the blue light of Michael, the blue sword of Michael, to break the attachment, and his angels are always, it's always good to call on him. He's very implicated. He's the most implicated of all archangels in this Earth ascension process, although they all are called to work here. Many, for the 800 archangels within our local universe. So they have many functions in many other planets as well, of course. But archangels are divine beings that can be in many places at once. So call on we can use the blue sword of Michael to assist you, and call on the archangel Michael to protect you, to guide you, to assist you in finding divine justice and balance and divine order. For sensibility is a double-edged sword. Sometimes it's like when you don't know, companies that you don't know that cannot hurt you, but sometimes I have those inner connection, intimate connection with certain intimate level, and so I'm working to align that. But now I'm very aware. It's like I'm aware when somebody is doing something behind my back, and so it's like so I have to learn to let go and to create more distance. For personal relationship, every relationship will always exist within, but we can take distance from that, and I have a tendency to move on, disconnect, and create more indifference in relationship to that, to shift my consciousness to something else, someone else, when this is happening. But yet we just gotta be flexible and continue to cultivate this sense of connection, and no matter what. So I wanted to thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, for your donations, and if you want a private session, I will probably continue to communicate here on YouTube. Although I am on Twitter now, I return to Twitter. I post my videos there. I'm also on Telegram, but it's on French channel for now, and Vika. I will soon be on Odyssey and maybe Crowdbunker, because there is a little ethical problem with communicating on YouTube. I'm going to continue to do that because they're allowing me to do that, but I ask them, I'm not really a big fan of advertising, but I ask them to connect, to select my advertising, because they do put advertising on my channel. And they responded to me that I'm not allowed to advertise on my channel because the content of what I'm talking about is dangerous to YouTube. So it's a very clear positioning that love, peace, joy, freedom, sovereignty is dangerous to YouTube, to the community of YouTube. So it makes really no sense to me. But since I have a psychic connection, I've had conversation with Sergey Brin and Larry Page, who are the founder of Google, that are on YouTube. I sent a call yesterday to them, and it is Sergey that responded. So I pointed out this problem on YouTube censorship in French. But I'm really above and beyond that. It is just for I don't know how much interest he has in that, or even if he has in more control over such things. But it's just so he can. There's a big cleansing, because all those platforms with the Twitter files, it's like we see that there is a deep state implication and manipulation and corruption within all of those platforms, and there is this cleansing. And soon it's said that Elon Musk, which are also very much in contact with on the higher planes, more and more right now, is also maybe buying YouTube and Google. So it's like the new revelation will come about. For it's like it's not about judgment, but it's about clearing up that, so it can serve the highest good of all. For if the highest good of all is not the purpose and the sense of the direction of where they're going, then they're not serving the whole, and then so. And Donald Trump also said that he's really going to attack all of the censure in America. So we'll see what happens, because the harder, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And we have AOL used to be the only platform, and then now it's gone. MySpace used to be the only platform where everybody was, and now they're gone. And maybe in 10 years, all of the GAFA that we have may be completely gone and be replaced by something else. So everything that can be realigned to serve the collective good will stay. Yet other things will just turn into dust, as Marcus Aurelius used to say in his book, The Thoughts for Myself. His inner guides was telling him, everything you think is important today will turn into dust in a moment of eternity and will be completely forgotten and replaced by something else. So it's all about relative to the evolution of consciousness. So I'm not even criticizing them. It's their choice. They told me that if I change my content, I can reapply in 30 days. Since my life is going to change, I'm going to change my content. And I'm not really that interested in putting advertising. But since they put advertising on my channel, it's like it's not ethical for me to choose my advertising, but it's ethical for them to utilize my content to advertise. So it's like there's just this sense of ethics. So in any event, I just thought if for some reason I'm no longer on YouTube, I will be on Twitter and Odyssey and Vika. And so I'm going to finish with a song. Thank you very much for everything. There's a great deal of newness that is coming. It's a song that's very light, very joy. It's called Amazing Grace. It is a state we need to return to, that state of grace, to escape the wheel of karma, to return to the state of grace. It goes like this. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, the grace appeared the hour I first believed. So Spirit is always ready, always in forgiveness. There is great deal of love that we can learn to. We have to love ourselves regardless of all of the ups and downs and the flows and all that. To learn and to adjust, to let go of the past, to let go of all those things that. To prepare ourselves for a brand new beginning. I thank you very much. Wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Adonai.